WNBA standout forward. Satu Sabally made clear that her time with the Dallas Wings is over. The former second overall selection from Oregon has spent 5 seasons with the Dallas Wings, achieving recognition as a 2-time WNBA All-Star and earning a spot on the 2023 All-WNBA First Team. "I have already expressed my gratitude to Dallas for making this my home over the years," Sabally stated on Thursday during a press conference for Unrivaled, a new 3x3 off-season league. "I'm collaborating with them to identify my next team, as I have played my final game with Dallas. I am looking forward to free agency. I have the opportunity to engage with numerous players across the league, as I have not yet played for another team, and I am eager to learn more about them personally, as well as their approach to the game." Her announcement regarding her readiness to progress was not unexpected, given the Wings' new front office and head coach this year, coupled with Sabally's contract expiration. Nevertheless, to prevent losing the 6'4" German national without compensation, the Wings opted to core Sabally on Monday. What does coring mean? Similar to the franchise tag used in the NFL, this practice entails the Wings offering a qualifying 1-year Supermax contract amounting to $241,984, which grants the team exclusive negotiating rights during Sabally's free agency. Teams may core only one player at a time. A player has the option to sign that contract and remain with the team that cored them while entering free agency following the contract's conclusion, or negotiate a new agreement, as Brittany Griner did in 2020. From Sabally's standpoint, it appears improbable that the Wings will attempt to persuade her to play for new coach Chris Koklanis and sign a new contract. Rather, they may focus on securing a suitable trade partner. "Initially, they certainly tried to retain me," Sabally remarked. "However, I believe that the most effective strategy involves collaborating with the player, listening to their desires, and exploring how we can arrive at the optimal solution for both parties." Sabally is expected to be one of the most sought-after free agents this season, potentially yielding a significant return for the Wing. Although she participated in only 15 games last season, Sabally averaged 17, 9 points, 6, 5 rebounds, and a career-high 5 assists per game. "You must commend Satu's career thus far. When she is healthy, she is an elite player and a game changer," commented new general manager Curt Miller during a press conference on Friday. What could the Wings get in return? The potential return for Sabally remains uncertain. There is no doubt that Sabally ranks among the top players when in good health. However, throughout her career, she has exceeded 20 games in a single season only once. Additionally, uncertainty persists surrounding the collective bargaining agreement, which is set to expire at the conclusion of the 2025 season. Very few athletes are contracted beyond 2025, as the forthcoming collective bargaining agreement, CBA, is expected to lead to a substantial increase in salaries, following the new 11-year media rights agreement established in July, which is valued at approximately $2 billion, around $200 million annually, compared to the existing contract that provides roughly $60 million. This situation could imply several possibilities. The Wings may prioritize acquiring draft selections over signing established players. Such a strategy would grant the organization greater control over the prospects they identify in collegiate and international competitions. Additionally, it may mean that certain teams could be inclined to trade away elite players if they lack confidence in their prospects for re-signing them under the new CBA. Consequently, pursuing a player such as Lexi Hull of the Indiana Fever, who is slated to become a restricted free agent in 2026, might present a risk since she may not be inclined to commit to Dallas after the season concludes. Ultimately, the decision will hinge on the number of franchises interested in Sabally and the extent of their desire to acquire her. An increase in interested teams would likely enhance the bargaining position for Dallas. Sabally would be required to obtain permission from the Wings to engage in discussions with other teams while being cored. Otherwise, she would depend on Dallas to facilitate her transition to a new team. The prospect of securing at least a first-round pick, along with a solid rotational player in exchange for Sabally, appears logical. In a manner similar to Sabally, observers will have to await Miller's actions regarding one of his initial significant duties. Last Thursday, prominent forward Satu Sabally declared her intention to depart from the Dallas Wings. This development is not particularly surprising, given that speculation regarding Although Sabally is approaching free agency, she is not free to leave the Wings unilaterally. The WNBA's core designation, analogous to the franchise tag in the NFL, restricts her from doing so. On Monday, Dallas formally presented a core qualifying offer to Sabally, securing their exclusive negotiating rights with her during the free agency period. Sabally has the option to either accept a one-year Supermax contract from Dallas or collaborate with the organization to orchestrate a trade to a mutually beneficial location. If we consider Sabally's statements from her announcement as accurate, the latter option is already progressing, with both parties engaged in discussions to facilitate a sign and trade agreement. Both Sabally and the Wings possess certain leverage in this context. Sabally has the ability to obstruct any trade to an unfavorable location if she chooses to forego the 2025 season without a formal contract. It is unlikely that Sabally would prefer to take a full year off, yet the possibility of such a course of action could constrain Dallas's alternatives. The Wings will strive to extract maximum value in any potential trade. A player of Sabally's stature will undoubtedly attract numerous interested teams, possibly resulting in a competitive bidding scenario for her acquisition. Dallas will need to and should emphasize achieving the most favorable return, regardless of whether this aligns with Sabally's desired destination. Ultimately, I am optimistic that both parties can evade engaging in excessive negotiation tactics and arrive at a mutually satisfactory resolution. Which teams are involved in this scenario? At present, it remains uncertain where Sabally aspires to be. There is considerable conjecture surrounding the reigning champion New York Liberty. Considering that Sabally's sister Nayara is on the roster, it represents a clear path to success. The Indiana Fever has a significant deficiency at the power forward position, and partnering with Caitlin Clark presents an appealing opportunity for any star in the WNBA. Additionally, the Las Vegas Aces, Seattle Storm, and Phoenix Mercury are all structuring their teams for immediate competitiveness and may serve as unpredictable contenders. Should Sabally seek an exit from Dallas and express willingness to join another successful franchise, all these teams could be viable options. What could a trade return for Sabally entail? This question poses a challenge to address. Emily Adler at The Next has recently issued a critique regarding the historical scarcity of star trades in the WNBA. Her findings were particularly striking. Recall the incident when Angel Reese was compelled to discuss the unsettling situation surrounding AI-generated images being directed toward her family. This scenario is not only distressing, but also infuriating to read about. The fan base was understandably unsettled when she broached the subject on her podcast, Unapologetically Angel. This incident illustrates the alarming ways in which technology can be utilized as a tool against public figures. Why must an athlete endure such breaches of privacy? Furthermore, Angel Reese is not the sole individual facing such issues. Caitlin Clark has recently garnered media attention for troubling reasons, having become a victim of a stalker from Texas who has allegedly left her very fearful. This brings me back to the earlier inquiry. Does the status of being a public figure necessitate the forfeiture of fundamental human dignity? It is imperative that we examine the boundaries in this regard and consider how we can impose accountability on individuals who transgress these limits. As the situation involving Caitlin Clark and her stalker continues to develop, an outpouring of support for the basketball star has emerged from across the globe, which is entirely warranted. Among her steadfast supporters is free agent Satu Sabally. Amidst swirling conjecture regarding Satu's possible transition to the Indiana Fever, the German-American basketball icon took to X to express her backing for Caitlin. Observers are keenly monitoring not only her forthcoming career decisions, but also the collective solidarity that athletes are demonstrating in response to adversity. Satu Sabally shared an image of the case report indicating that Caitlin Clark's stalker had been charged with a level 5 felony, captioning it, "Oh, I hope you never go through that. I'm terrified, honestly." She further emphasized the importance of unity during challenging circumstances, declaring, "Absolutely, it's heartbreaking to hear about women going through such traumatic experiences, but it's empowering to see people speaking out and supporting one another." Solidarity and awareness are crucial steps towards. It is unjust to presume that Satu Sabally's expression of support for Caitlin Clark during this trying period is indicative of her joining the Indiana Fever. The camaraderie exhibited by athletes should not be reduced to mere trade speculations. Nevertheless, what potential destinations might the German-American star be considering? Let us examine her possible options and contemplate what the future may hold for this talented free agent. While reports indicate that Sabally might only consider supermax contracts, it is significant to acknowledge that not many teams would be inclined to sign her because of her significant injury history. She averages less than 20 games per season, 97 games in 5 seasons, presenting a considerable risk for any franchise. Undoubtedly, her prowess as a player is noteworthy. The 26-year-old, when in optimal health, ranks among the best players globally. In the 2023 season, Sabally participated in 38 games, averaging 18, 6 points, 8, 1 rebounds, and 4 assists per game, thereby demonstrating her capabilities as one of the premier two-way players in the league. The fans' ideal scenario would see Caitlin Clark teaming up with Sabally to create a formidable tandem capable of overwhelming opponents in the WNBA. Realistically, the Fever could propose a trade involving the 5th pick, as well as Nalissa Smith, to facilitate the transaction. However, it remains uncertain whether the Dallas Wings would consider this, cognizant that more advantageous offers may be available elsewhere. The Chicago Sky could potentially offer their 3rd pick in the draft should they be so inclined. This would consequently strengthen the Sky as a formidable contender, especially with Reese and Cardoso already on the roster. Currently, New York could present the most advantageous proposal, leveraging draft capital and Leonie Fibic to entice the Wings. Should this arrangement materialize, Sabally would once again be playing alongside her Oregon teammate, Sabrina Ionescu. While Caitlin Clark courageously navigates this distressing situation, the steadfast support from teammates such as Satu Sabally underscores the power of solidarity. These instances emphasize that athletes transcend their roles as competitors on the court. They are individuals deserving of respect, privacy, and safety. Regarding Satu Sabally, her prospects within the league are as captivating as her contributions off the court. Whether she partners with Caitlin in Indiana enhances Chicago's lineup, or reconnects with acquaintances like Sabrina in New York, it is evident that her influence will be significant both on and off the court.